Alright, it's night again, and we're back for another video. Sorry. Here early so I can do it. I'm so glad that Christian Harloff released a new video today, because man, I was down on the whole hearing about what Area 51 has to say about the aliens and the whole ufology influence campaign that they're apparently doing. And I'm so glad he did a new video, because him and Riley did a new video interview, because he gave me something else to think about. And like, this is a whole different part of, I don't really follow this too closely, but I have like watched some stuff on it, like Jesse Michaels stuff and the Y-Files and the 0 Point Tech and all of these, this technology, that anti-gravitic technology that went dark in the 50s or whatever, blah blah blah. And so I know that stuff exists, and that's a whole part of like the alien sort of stuff. And like it's just out there. Well, I love a good story when, like, he did this story on Ashton Forbes. Christian and Riley, they did this story on this Ashton Forbes guy. Oh man, I love it when the powers that be, the deep dark state, whatever you want to think, however you conceive of that, when they underestimate the little guy, because the little guy happens to be a secret obsessed genius. Like, they picked the wrong dude to, like, oh man, like, to quote him, he's given all his stuff over to Arrow, right? He's communicated with them and given all their stuff, his stuff over to them about this Asian flight MS-13, Asian flight M370 or whatever. And to quote him, he's turned over all that stuff to Arrow, and he's got them dead to rights. He says he's pretty much got them dead to rights, and he thinks that they're in the process of like coming up with a plausible lie. But he's looked into so many different things, and so there's so many different angles to all of his evidence, that like bro has become like this next level expert. And he's just not gonna fuck around, man. Like, he's got them. They underestimated who they messed with. Oh, man. Like, he's figured out everything. Everything. From who leaked those videos and showed the orbs and all of it's crazy. Like, this orb stuff is in the alien stuff, it's in the Bigfoot stuff, these orbs of energy and all this, and how they supposedly have the ability to like take things from put them over here and from there, and take things and move them around and warp them from point A to point B. And these like orb things, and he says that like basically his theory is that this Taiwanese semiconductor technologist person, patriot guy, leaked these videos because he thought he was looking at alien stuff. But actually, what ended up happening is the government ended up finding out what he did. And they were like, you have no idea what you just did. And essentially, like, the working theory is he didn't leak some alien stuff. He leaked some black, like, tech, awesome, hidden, American, deep, dark, anti-gravitic, super tech. And that he was like, oh. And they were like, yeah. So not only are you gonna do like a plea deal, you're going, like, usually when people do espionage to like China or whatever, they get fined a crap ton and they get monitored and stuff, and then they like go to prison for 2 or 3 years or what, you know, it's very light sentencing. Very light sentencing. This guy plea deals and still goes for 9 years. Like, the government was mad at him. And this guy's theory is it's because he didn't expose aliens, he exposed special human tech. And so, like, oh man, but this guy, this story, it's about this dude. The government, I love it when these people have just underestimated this dude, and he's like, bro, I'm a child of the internets. Look at my magics. And like, just, I mean, he's researched every possible angle to this. He's researched, verified, I mean, FOIA'd all this stuff. And like, Arrow, he sends all his stuff to Arrow. Arrow Arrow takes forever to get back to him. And then they're like, when they finally do get back to him, they're like, sorry it's taken so long. We're in the process of doing all the stuff, and we just want you to verify a couple things. But also, no results yet. Yeah. We'll get back to you. Please verify these things. And he thinks that they're like trying to postpone and stall as long as possible so they can come up with a plausible lie to fit all the evidence or whatever. But he's like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work because, like, this dude, I've never heard of him until through Christian Harloff. I've never seen anything with this guy. I've never, nothing. But this guy's apparently done hundreds of hours of, like, not just stuff with all, like, he's like every conceivable expert that I could find, I have talked to. Every conceivable theory he's walked through. I mean, like, every single thing he has walked through and looked at, and I mean, like, and like, Arrow would have to watch all that stuff because, like, Christian Harloff was like, there's these different, like, people who have looked into it, experts or whatever, and they think this theory this is their theory. And he's like, yeah, I've talked to that person, and, like, one's a lady. I've talked to that person, and this is why, blah, bam, 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 this couldn't be the case. Bam, 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 bam. And I mean, like, Christian and Riley are just like, this bro is with it. Like, I mean, he is on it, man. And it's like, you know, I love a good story like that. Like, I love a good, like, I freaking hope he is right. Whatever it is that he says, like with the super tech or whatever. You know, like, I that would be so, like, I love that shit when they're like, this guy doesn't know, and it's like, no, actually, this guy has made it his life's mission to know. You don't know about him, brother. And this dude has, like, he's ready for you. Like, he's ready for you. And he's so, I mean, like, his stuff's everywhere, all over stuff. So, like, good luck. You know, like, good luck, man. Like trying to be like, oh, this dumb fuck, blah, 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 blah. Who is he? He doesn't know. This guy knows. This dude has figured it out. And you are gonna fuck around and find out when you try to, like, do something about it, because he's ready for you. And he's not an arrogant man. He's not like, he's just, it, like, this subject matter has become like breathing to him. And he has absolutely, like, when I say looked into every conceivable angle of this thing, he has looked into a spectrum of paint of this certain military plane that was in the vicinity of that plane when all this stuff apparently went down. Because he's run into, like, that, like, oh, people saying, oh, well, they can't be that color, that doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. This dude looked into it, researched it, and found out that actually is a thing. Like, when I say every single angle, like, I mean, this dude, this regular guy, has gone through it all. He's already, like, I hate to use this word, but this dude has already debunked so much bullshit in regards to going against his working theory, that, like, this guy's already gone to all the intellectual war that, like, to get here. And just now you're getting involved, deep state, dark shadow people, government. Like, just like, this dude is like, oh, you like, I mean, you're too late. You are too late with Brother Forbes. Like, he is about to, like, I mean, he's the best approach the government could have in regards to all this. Here's, like, this is what you should do, deep dark state, okay? Because you people, like, you already don't know how to communicate, and you've depressed me on all the other stuff. So, like, I'm gonna throw you a bone. You need to call Arrow and be like, hey, look, like, I appreciate what everybody's been doing and trying to work on this, on some sort of lie that, you know, would fit or what. We're just not gonna say anything, okay? Like, we're gonna cut our losses and just not say anything, because you say anything to this man, anything, he's gonna put that just boop down. Like, actually, no, it couldn't be that. Da 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 da. I mean, like, what's another good example of the stuff he's looked into? Like barnacle growth. I mean, like, he has looked into all of this stuff where, you know, every, like location that is publicly known about, that's near where this all allegedly happened, whatever, like, these people, there's just happens to be all these CIA dark sites. Like, he's looked into software updates and all this other stuff. He's looked into law and all about the criminal charges and all that stuff through that guy. He's looked into the people that went that prosecuted and were his lawyer. Like, he has looked into everything. Like, just don't respond. I'm trying to do you the favor. Just don't respond, because this guy is ready for your bullshit. And this whole, like, this bullshit, like Kona Blue, and you're saying stuff without saying stuff without saying stuff. And then Area 51 gets to participate in, like, how Area 51 propaganda goes, or whatever is going on. Like, this is not the dude to try that on. This is not the reason why that works on in a lot of other ways, and on a lot of regular people, the propaganda, like, oh, this is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. The reason why a lot of that stuff works and is effective, right, is because regular people, like, don't have the time and the energy and the lives to, like, give a damn and to look into it, and they're ignorant, and like, usually propaganda and all that, all the bullshit stuff is easy to digest, quick, and, like, you know, it's just, like, simple. And it's like, oh, well, this, you know, blah, 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 blah. And they'll just, it's just this random, like, it's balloons. It's not aliens. Like, you know, think about it. Like, it's never aliens. Da, da, da. You know, and all this. And, like, but here is a guy who this became, like, this is a part of him. He's looked into it so deeply. This is a part of him, and he did all this because, like, you know, he did all this on his own, and has looked into so much, and it's all open source. He's not signed any NDAs or whatever else. Like, he's looked into everything so thoroughly on the open source market of information and all that. Like, this is not gonna be a guy where your stupid bullshit of some interesting story that's really, really neato, and you know, that's that far away, like I said a video or so ago about, like, you know, just a smidge behind proof of. This isn't the guy to try one of those on. I don't care how many smart people are in Area 51 working on the bullshit factory. I don't care what you guys have to say on this. Like, you come out with some Kona Blue style dumbassery, right? And it's all this, like, nah, sort of. Nothing to see here, though, guys. All that shady, no person should communicate this way about anything. And I'm a professional. I talk in circles. I'm a professional at that, right? Like, I mean, like, I talk in literal circles, but you in a document where you're like, this does never happened except when we did it a while back. Like, this is not the opportunity this is not an instance where you should try such a thing. Because this dude is throwing like literal intellectual hammers. Like, this guy's ready for your bullshit, and he's gonna put, I don't care how many smart people you got that shady as balls working in Area 51 and are ready with some new cool thing and oh yeah and all of that. Like, this dude's gonna be like, nope. Like, not a guy to trifle with. Not a guy to trifle with. And but I hope they do. They probably will. They probably will, because they probably won't be able to help themselves. Like, they will be like, hey, regular people though, right? Regular people are simpleton dumbasses. And they won't bother finding out about anything. And so we'll say something that's like half plausible. And we'll also say stuff like, on the down low. We'll also say stuff about Tajikistan and the CIA and some alien stuff. And, and this dude's already pointed out the 0 point, and we'll like let all this stuff sort of simmer and churn. Right. And, but also bombs, terrorists. People love a good terrorist story. Put that in there. They love to hate terrorists. And they probably will like spin some bullshit that sounds like half plausible to the regular man that's never looked into, has no idea what the fuck a M370, 0 plane was, and which one was that got blown up, or did it get blown up, or where was it? Was over Asia, or which one is this again? Is this the one they blew up in Ukraine? No, I don't know. Tell me the story. Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, those fucking terrorists. Or whatever story they hear first that's churning around, easy to digest, all of them, really. I mean, when you can just blame the CIA and, just indiscriminately for everything, and say that they're capable of doing so many things when who knows what they're capable of doing, right? Like, that sounds like something they'd do. You know what I mean? Like, oh well, like, that's the regular man attitude, unfortunately, in a lot of ways and stuff. And when you can do these strategic bullshit lines you can cast out, and people will randomly come into contact with them and all that, and they'll just they'll just accept your explanation. They'll just accept that, but no problem. It was a terrorist. It crashed. It broke up into pieces because of a bomb, and pieces of it washed up onto Africa. It doesn't really matter which of those, I guess, are true. You know what I mean? And like, even Forbes, Ashton Forbes guy that's done all this research and looked at all these things, like, he even said, he's like, I have never talked to any family members or anything like that and done any of that, because I don't want to give these people false hope by saying I know what happened. Pretty dead to rights know what happened to their plane, because there's no trace of anybody, and I don't want to be like, I know what happened to their plane, but I don't know what happened to them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not as if I mean, these people, they're not alive. right? Like I highly doubt that. I highly, highly doubt that, right? And, or if they are alive, that, like, they intercepted that plane and did that stuff. If those people are alive, I don't think they're all alive. But the ones that could be alive are like, people that they were worried about giving espionage and stuff, information and stuff too. And then now those are like astrophysicist level, semiconductor PhD having chip manufacturing expert slave at some black site somewhere, like Area 51, for instance. Like they're just like, well, I mean, maybe you did want to like give China or something to China or someone else. Maybe you did want to do that, or maybe you didn't. But like, you're too important to like just allow freedom to. So like, hope you like the desert. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. You'll get to meet famous people too. They're coming so they can record everything we say, and we like to throw out things like stories and stuff. They're cool stories though. They're real cool. Yeah. But lots of people, we're on social media, like, like there's a whole level of stuff that goes into this. So like, yeah, you can watch the magic happen, right? But you're not ever going to be free again. That's just not going to happen. And I mean, if that's the case, and all that, they use those weapons to do all, like, those insane capabilities to do all that, like, if all of this stuff is true, but like this guy, he says it all is. Like, I mean, this dude, when I know I keep saying this, but when I say that he's looked into everything, every aspect he possibly can, from how paint goes on to an airplane, to barnacles, to smashed up bits of plane that have washed up, like, satellite image, like, on and on. He looked into Google Earth so much, he found out that possibly, like, they have military-esque capabilities in their processing, and that they might actually, them in the military might be in cahoots together and working together. Like, that's how deeply he looked into, he found potential conspiracies in this conspiracy. Like, this dude looked into friggin' everything in regards to this plane. And so it's just like, he says, I mean, like, if this dude says that this happened, it happened. He's done all this and not been paid a dime. Right? He's done all this and has not been paid a dime. He told the potential leaker of the videos, like, he called him once he found out, that dude that was in prison for 9 years in the plea deal and all that stuff, and like, how, like, he found out who this guy was, called his cell number once. It immediately answered and hung up. And so he texted him. He's like, hey, if this is the cell number attributed to you, blah, 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 I want you to know you're a hero of mine. And he never tried contacting that number or that person ever again. But I mean, like, man, like, I love it too. To me, this is, it's not as exciting as like a David Grush, right? It's just not. Because David Grush, you know, came from a regular person background, but David Grush has been and it was so high level for so long, you know what I mean? And was incredibly important in his roles that he played and all that stuff. Like, so like that's exciting and awesome and epic for like a whole set of its own reasons. But like this is almost like it's almost there, right? In a way. Because like what's awesome about this is that this dude's just he's just a believer. Like he's done all this himself out of his own curiosity or whatever's driving him, but he's not ever received a dime for this. He's already done all the intellectual war. He's already done all the arguing and proving wrong. He's already done all this stuff, and it's all locked up inside his head. And yeah, he is just one guy, and he's just, you know, but he's done all, his message is now out there. He's out there. Like the internet will do a lot of work for him now. And like, you know, whether Arrow puts out something official or not, and these fuckers, you know, like say some official message and some bullshit line about blah, 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 blah. Even if they do throw out some official messaging on it through Arrow, there's no way that they can shut down all of the stuff that he's done and put out there and that is on the internet now. There's no way they can censor him because it'll be too obvious. And like and people would get angry, so best not to do anything. Right? Like, especially when you have no legal apparatus, because again, he's done all this for himself. He's done all this and not received a dime. You can't really punish or come after him for anything. He's not violated an NDA. He's not like, you know, he's not been in the military. He's not like, he's just learned it all. Right? Like, and like, man, like this is gonna be one to follow. This is gonna be one to follow because, like I said, this is almost as exciting as like a whistleblower David Grush level event, because in a way it's sort of like the same type stuff. It's really long-winded, hard, complicated because he has to go through so much information. Because it's taken him going through so much information to get to where he's at. But like, this dude's like he's the anti-bullshit, right? He's like a whistleblower that they can't like bullshit their way out of this one. Because this dude's like the anti-bullshit. He's going to wreck your attempt. I don't care who's on your side. He's going to wreck your attempt because you're just now getting involved. Like, what can you say now? And this, your message toe to toe with this guy, not going to work for you. And, like, I don't know, it makes me proud to be, you know, it makes me proud to be an American. It makes me proud for this, of this man. And this Ashton Forbes, I don't know anything else about him. I don't know anything about him as a person or whatever. But I'm proud of him. I'm proud that he did all that hard work. And I'm proud that he put it out there like a man. And you know, like, I really like people like this being out there and that are unimpeachable like that because they're not wrapped up in all this bullshit. And I mean, like, this guy's pretty much like a genius who they can't touch, not for not trying, but because he's a regular person, so there's no attachment to him. They can't go through the law. They can't go through the military. They can't go through financial stuff. They can't go. He's just a dude You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to reach him. He's such a dude and so far away. You know what I mean? And if it's so obviously like that, that if you were to ever touch him or try anything or do anything, it would be so obvious that the internet would, immolate and like blow up in your face. And so, like, I love it, man. It's great. That dude's a hero. Like this Ashton, however you say that, Forbes guy. He's like a patriot. He's a hero. Like he's done everything he can do in a direction that serves the everyday people, and them finding out and not being the last to know about stuff, and using the internet and for things in ways that you would hope, for things that, like, are important and a part of our histories that we don't get told and we don't get anything shared, and we're what makes this world run. You know what I mean? We're what makes this world run. It's not these Area 51 0-point energy, craft and all this other stuff, and the secret deep dark hybrid aliens running the joint. Like, no. It's us that make this world run. It's us that make this country in America and North America a good place to be and to live. Even though we're not perfect, we got our problems. Like, it's us that do all that, not these things out there in the ether that operate in and out of our consciousness and our, society. And like, so I'm really glad that Christian had him on. And I'm really glad that I got to watch that. That dude should go on others. Like, hopefully he'll go on more high profile stuff. Like Rogan, Sean Ryan would be a good one. Sean Ryan, like, he's one to believe. Like, that dude hates the government at present. Like, he's hated. They've sucked for forever. But yeah. Like, okay, now I'm going to take a break, and then I'll do a short.